Welcome back to Titacola Touring. In today's episode, we're going to be going over where have I been, what I've been up to, and what's actually new on the Ute. Since you last seen the Ute, probably would have looked pretty similar on the outside, but what's actually changed a lot is actually in the engine bay. So what actually brought me to do all of this? I've always had issues with the car pumping a little bit of coolant out of the overflow bottle. I always had a little bit of a head gasket issue. It would seep a bit of oil out of the side and pump a little bit of coolant out through putting combustion into the cooling system. Way to Motorex. I was invited to go to Motorex by car builders. Awesome event. On the way to Motorex there, basically dumped all of the coolant out of the overflow. It's like, oh great, here we go. Limped it there, topped it up, and then limped it home. Once again, dumped it on the drive home, and it brought me to do what we see here. So starting from this corner here, it's alloy washer bottle here in the corner. We've got some ugly looking winch wiring because I do have to finish off that. 3-inch intercooler piping on the cold side, going to an AECO weld-on top half intake. I've had that intake for a fair while now. As we keep going further over, you'll see I have got head studs in it now. The rocker cover is powder coated. There's no more top mount here. We're going front mount. 2.5-inch cooler piping on the other side. A nice polished seamless intake pipe. The brand new 21L from UFI, the high mount manifold, all of that ceramic coated. There's a beanie on the turbo. Note as well is you'll see the turbo beanie is frayed a little bit here. I had to punch a hole in it for the actuator arm. I know, a bit bummed about it. The ceramic coating. I know I was a bit skeptical about ceramic coating, and once again can't recommend it enough. Ceramic coating actually does work. And pulling up to mates' houses and just popping my bonnet and going, hey mate, grab this. And, you know, they grab it and you don't burn yourself. It's awesome stuff. And obviously the turbo being powder coated as well. So a lot's changed under there, and it's a whole lot more prettier, a whole lot more drivable. I cannot rate this setup enough. It is absolutely grouse. It makes the car so much nicer to drive, so much smoother. You don't have, with an 18G, the power sort of falling off as the turbo sort of runs out of legs. You don't have that with the 21L. And it's not actually that laggy. I would say it is pretty much on par with the 18G setup. Over the pros and cons of a front mount versus a top mount, I've only been away one trip, and that was to Dargo and Lacola. Apart from that, it's just been driving around town, whatnot, sorting out all the little issues. I would say that there is a difference. I have noticed a difference in coolant temp, and I know we're in the middle of winter, but I would say it's not a lot. It's anywhere between 5 to about 10 degrees difference, depending on what you're doing, sometimes 3-degree difference. Where this car used to sit at about 63 degrees, just normal driving. Now it's around about that 69, 70 mark. And then obviously that continues to get more and more. I don't know if anyone's been to Dargo, and out the back of Dargo, there is a really, really steep hill just as you come out of Dargo. Just wanted to see what it did. Stayed in fourth for most of that, and it hit 80 degrees, which is very rare for this car to hit 80. Once it hit 80, it stopped. It was all fine, so it doesn't really worry me that much yet. EGTs is another thing. Obviously, that's the whole point of an intercooler, is to cool down the compressed air from the turbo. EGTs are a bit faster to climb. I've noticed they sort of hit 400 degrees-ish and pretty much stop there. After that, it pretty much just cools it down. It is very quick to recover, unlike a top mount. I feel like the top mount heat soaks a bit more. But a lot of people were asking me to just make a list of pros and cons. I guess I would say in the pros list, cool a lot better. They don't get as heat soaked. You don't need a fan if you're worried about wiring for a fan, anything like that, because they're at the front, they obviously cop all the air, and you've got a fan behind it anyway for the engine. Cons list for the front mount, I would say, is your coolant temp. If you're already having a hot TD or engine that sort of runs hot, definitely isn't going to help it at all. Another con would be mud. It's obviously the first thing to hit when you hit mud. So if you don't take care of it, it'll just block up. Apart from that, if you want to go to a top mount, yeah, okay, it's out of the way, it's out of the mud, it's out of the way of your radiator and whatnot, but you do get that heat soak, it is above the engine. There's air coming in through the bonnet scoop, and then it's hard to get out because it's getting out through all the heat, and the heat rises, and it's just, it's a nightmare. If you have a hot TD, that's the price you got to pay. You can't go ahead and block the radiator. I'm lucky I don't have AC. Lucky. I don't have AC, so it didn't really bother me too much, just putting one more cooler in there. But if you got radiator, AC, intercooler, a winch, driving lights. Like, there's nothing getting through to your engine at the end of the day. I have also kept the UFI 11mm pump that you would have seen in a previous video, the 230 horsepower or 200 horsepower pump. I did get asked as well, what brackets have I used for the intercooler? It was all custom. There's no actual bracketry out there or kit out there that suits my application. Kit, I'll put up some photos of the process along the way, but there is no kit that sort of suits my application of the high mount winch there being so close to the radiator, having no AC as well, so I had to get it as close as I could to the radiator, but still leaving enough gap to where it still can be effective. Obviously it's not going to heat soak through each other. Moving forward, I've got a few videos that are already sort of underway while I'm filming this. I've got Lerderderg, I've got Talaruk, which there is a new spicy mod that you guys have not seen on the ute. It's not in this video either, so you'll have to wait around for that one. Got a few more ideas of stuff. I will do an in-depth rundown of this. I know I did tease you a little bit. Other things that have changed while it has been off the road doing all of this, and I will go into more detail about all of this. I want to get back into uploading more frequently. I did let it go as the obvious reason. The engine wasn't together. So yes, I do intend on uploading a lot more frequently. Got some good ideas planned. I've got some videos already filmed. We'll be releasing fortnightly. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for all of them and take it easy.